EBS Podcast presents.
Whoa, are we in an airport right now? I don't think so. We're in the EBS studio, about to get going and kick off an episode of the EBS podcast, Just Go. In Just Go, we're going to be talking to EBS students who have done the Erasmus program, and let's talk about their trials and tribulations and what they went through and how it's made them a better person overall and what they got out of the experience. But more importantly, let's stop talking and let's just go. Okay, we are live in studio. How are you doing, good people? You having a good day? I'm having a great day. It's rainy. It's not rainy. It's like miserable outside. It's Estonia, so what can we really do? But you know what we can do? We can sit back, we can relax, and we can talk about Erasmus, which is the most entertaining thing to talk about. In studio today, I'm with our two guests, Kristi and Alex. Oddly enough, they both went to Holland. I mean, no, like, get out of Estonia. It's fucking insane. But, let me open the floor, I guess, just quickly going. Ladies first, let me know a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, this is my now 4th year in EBS. Because of Erasmus, it extended a little bit.
So you did a full year?
Yeah, no, I did half a year, but there was like, I think 3 courses that I couldn't, there wasn't any courses there that I needed here. It was like business and Asia culture. They didn't have that course in Holland, so I had to do it again here.
That sounds like you were so pumped about that experience. They had everything I needed. In reality, no. And
but yeah, I'm right now a sales manager in a German company.
Ooh, Miss Worldwide.
Yep. But I have been there for now 5 months, I guess. So it was right after the Holland experience, and actually the Holland experience really helped me.
Did the Holland experience directly influence getting this job?
Well, not directly, but when I said that I was half year in Holland, and Holland is right next to Germany, so it was like, oh, you talk Dutch, right? And I was like, not really. But yeah, it helped. It helped.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Okay, let me know a little bit about yourself. Let the viewer know a little bit about yourself, Alex. Sure. By the way, before he starts talking, you may not see it on the camera, but the babyest blue eyes, they are killer.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah. I'm Alex. Actually, I'm from Austria, and I ended up here in Estonia going to EBS.
Yeah.
It's now my 7th semester, because I also went 2 times abroad, once in Holland and once in the UK.
Ooh.
And I mean, actually, the studying here is absolutely great, but we are to talk about the Erasmus. So really, the Holland, the uni was absolutely great, the city was great, and I had an amazing time there.
Yeah.
What city were you in?
Pardon?
What city were you in?
Amsterdam.
Oh, Amsterdam. I was in Rotterdam.
Yeah,
so,
it was University of Amsterdam.
So you obviously, Rotterdam, you understand the New Blue song then?
What blue song? What?
The New Blue song? Rotterdam?
Oh! Do you mean... yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, that was
He actually posted a photo of Rotterdam on his Instagram, and nobody knew what the hell was going on. Why did he post it? Because he didn't say anything. He would just posted a picture of a city, and I was like, oh my god, that's like Rotterdam. I went there.
The man is a genius. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And I think I was the only one who knew what that picture was about. Like,
because you were the only one with the experience. This is the reason you go to. This is the reason to go to Erasmus.
Yeah.
But speaking on, you went twice to Erasmus, once to Holland and once to the UK. Just go ahead, but like, why Erasmus, right? Because in my head, you are a foreign international, same as I in this country, right? Why leave? What is there more to experience other than this wonderful place?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'm doing at the bachelor here, you have enough time to like really explore. I'm doing international business, so I think you're supposed to be to get intercultural experience. And I mean, for example, myself, I love traveling. So of course you can combine. I mean, when you're in Erasmus, it's not about not solely about studying. It's a whole experience. It's a whole package. And you can explore so many parts of the. Well, I mean, I just did in Europe, but still, there is so much to see, so much to explore. And I mean, definitely as an international business student, even if I came here as a foreigner, it's still like now I have been to 3, including Estonia, to 3 countries within the last 3.5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. And if you get the chance, do it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that was a solid response, man. Like that was that was very dignified, and I really like that kind of answer. Why Erasmus? Just, I mean, generally, you don't have to. You don't have to be like, again, not to copy off the most dignified response to this question I've ever received, but in the same terms, was it for you the same thing that you wanted, just to get out of the country and experience something new, or were you truly going there with a set mindset that you wanted to achieve one singular goal, essentially?
Well, for me, it was basically the same. I was here in a routine for like my whole life, and I mean, I just wanted to see what's out there. You know, I wanted to see if the other universities, if it's all the same basically everywhere.
Yeah.
But I realized that it's like totally different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Like a foreign country different.
Because when you travel, I mean, you go maybe 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, maybe a week, but you really don't get to, get to know the country. And for me, I've been to Holland many times before when I went with Erasmus, and when I lived there for a half a year, I really get to know the country, because when you think of Holland, you think of Amsterdam, basically.
That's all anyone's ever thought about Holland, yes.
Yeah, but when I lived there, I went to, 10 different cities at least. And then I really get to, see Holland.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Amsterdam. Amsterdam is like Disneyland.
It's
not real.
Which city was your favorite then? Was it the one you lived in, or was it just like a random town?
No, it wasn't. Rotterdam was the only city that was different from... Every city basically was the same. But Rotterdam was totally different because it's built from the ground. It was bombed down.
Okay.
And it's built up. It's totally new. There are all these new skyscrapers basically.
Yeah.
And it's really modern and stuff. But all the other towns, they are old and they have this old history to them.
Okay. On that one note, why Holland then? Why not? Okay, because I'm going to be honest with you. Which semester did you go in?
I was
Fall semester. So right when the winter comes, coming from a northern country, you're like, you know what? I need more rain all the time. But
I thought that Estonian weather is bad, but
it's a different kind of bad. Let's put it that way.
It's so windy there.
But why not go to the south? Why Holland in particular?
Well, I actually wanted to go to Amsterdam. I wanted to go to Amsterdam, but they didn't want me there.
They did not want the Estonian.
Yeah, and then they offered me Rotterdam, and I was like, I don't know. I wanted to go to Amsterdam. But then I was like, okay, let me try it. Let me try. If I want to go anyway, what the hell?
Yes.
I'm going to go and try. Maybe it was meant to be that way. And later I realized why it went like this, because Amsterdam... It's so busy. There are so many tourists. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But Rotterdam is totally different. It's
unique, is what you're saying. It's a different kind of vibe.
Yeah. And I love the vibe. I love Rotterdam much more than Amsterdam. Sorry.
It's a little rivalry now. Last episode, we had 2 guys from different cities in Italy. Maybe we'll get the same rivalry going again. Rico, can you feel it? Rico is giving us the nod of approval. He's feeling the tension. I gotta cut that tension. That's my responsibility as the host. But I gotta turn to you. See, this is what I find it's a little bit of a weird situation where I'm asking you both essentially the same questions but different, because I feel like everyone's got a different, unique experience. I want to target your experience in general and more specifically. But to get to that further depth, I have to ask, why Holland again? I mean, you coming from Austria, you going to the north. In my sense, I'm from the northeast of the United States, and no idea is like, you know what? I still want to go to the north. Like, someone going to Norway doesn't make sense to me, but the South does. So why Holland?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great city where you can explore so many things. I think nearly everyone as a tourist had been there. So I mean, there is a general feeling that people want to explore this kind of city, and if you have really 6 months there to not only explore but also to live among the people, to get the real living experience there. I, for example, we didn't live in Amsterdam. I live a little bit in the outskirts. It was called Sloterdijk, and for example, I had to go by bike 40 minutes every day, one direction, back and forth.
Wow.
Man, your thighs must be a killer.
Yeah, but that is actually what it do there, because I mean, you don't have a car there.
Yeah.
And even if I lived there, I would not take a car. I think it's the last place on earth where I would buy a car.
Yeah,
honestly.
they got
Amsterdam
rivers.
Amsterdam for cars is like it's insane. You know, you have to drive like somewhere to get at your point. You know, it's a completely so I would never drive by car there.
So so when since you lived outside the city,
Yeah.
was that something that also drew you out? That did you know you were you're going to be living outside the city when you got there, or was that something you decided when you got there?
Yeah, I mean, I can elaborate this a bit. If you applied UVA, they basically send you an application form. You need to fill this out, and you need to also state on it your living expectations, in that sense that they give you kind of different options for rents, you know, different amounts of money,
Yeah.
and what you can expect to get for that kind of money. And for example, I wanted to have my own flat, kind of, you know, studio
Yeah.
flat. And these are not really provided in the city because there it's too expensive. So if you want to have your own studio flat, you basically are in the outskirts. If you maybe shared flats are also inside the city, but you know it's not an issue. There was also a train. The train would have taken like not even 10 minutes, you know. And you are like UVA. It depends which campus you are, but generally you're in the main campus, which is directly in the city. You know, there is also a tram going, but the tram needs about as much time as you by bike. You can decide then what to take.
So this was culminating in your experience, like your draw to it, that it was on your own, you know, in the city outside of it. Was this drawing into the appeal of the city to you when you were applying and whatnot?
The thing is, the whole building block was a building of studio flats for students. You know, it was an amazing experience. You know, you are like there with 150 flats. It was kind of a village, you know, and you're there with not solely, but just solely students. I mean, you get to know each other. You know, you have a good time. You know, maybe you at the night on the weekend. Or sometimes during the week you go out in the city, you know. I mean, going out in Amsterdam is like I don't think I have to talk about that.
Yeah, no. This is a school podcast.
Yeah. Okay. I will go back to the topic. Okay.
We'll wait till after the recording for that one. I want to hear more about your nightlife.
Oh, okay.
After special.
Exactly. Rico, can we do an after special? He says we can do an after special. We'll just keep rolling forever then.
Okay.
But so when you were there though with everyone, it was it's different than what you got here then essentially.
Yeah, I mean the community was here. There is no real like dormitory, and everybody has kind of its own flats or own place to be. I mean, mostly are Estonians, so they have their home like anyway.
Yeah.
And there you are like really in a kind of student community. You know, it's like, and after a few weeks, or not even a few weeks, after 1 week, you get really to know not everyone, but most of the people. Like you form this kind of circle. Most of them are bound also to UVA, also the University of Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And so, you know, in the morning you build groups to ride the bike. You know, you don't ride alone. It's not that you just ride alone for 40 minutes. You know, there is always somebody, you know, who is also going, and then you go together. It's absolutely great. You know, I really loved it.
You're highly recommending it then.
I highly recommend it then, yeah.
Highly recommend. Okay, so I think that got through what I was trying to. I think that was the same. Again, so diligently answered, very descriptive. I really enjoy listening to you speak. He's like an Austrian Matthew McConaughey.
Okay, yeah.
You know Austrian Matthew McConaughey, right? You got the reference.
Okay,
That.
Yeah.
Okay, I needed the reference. Like, okay, I got the one. It's fine.
Okay.
To finish off on that one, do you think the fact that you were living in a student village essentially added to was more added value than you were getting than you were initially planning to? Was this a bonus, or was this something you were desiring to go after?
So let me rephrase the question. So you mean that where I live, I actually wanted to go where I went. So it was my first choice.
Okay, but the living in a student village was what you were after to get to be more.
Definitely. So it added an extreme amount of value, you know, to the whole experience, because you are just like-minded students. And that's I think like that's an experience which is also something you should enjoy, or you should at least have one time the exposure to it, because then you have this real student life kind of, you know.
All right, Kristi, the same. How? I mean, I don't want to divulge too deeply into your living situation, but in that same situation, were you also in a student housing? Was this common throughout all of Holland, or were you just in a flat by yourself in the city?
Well, I wanted to get a flat by myself, but in Rotterdam the accommodation also was so expensive. It was crazy. If I wanted to get a flat for myself, like one room, it would have been like over 1,000, maybe like 1,200 or something at least.
Per month.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's crazy. I didn't expect that actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, then school offered us, there was like, our school was connected to this huge modern skyscraper like building, like a housing building. And
like the Seb Tower building we're talking about, or like bigger.
It was like 50 floors at least. It was huge. One time I went to the top floor and the building was like moving, and I don't know how does anyone even live up there, because I was like sick even when I just went to the floor. But anyway, three first floors were for students in that building. So for Erasmus students, I don't know, maybe the school students live somewhere there also, but for Erasmus there was like 3 of the first floors. So I lived there basically. This was what the school offered us, and we live also like there was like this huge community that formed with the people that lived in this building. The people that lived outside, there wasn't like, they were kind of outside our group, but the ones that lived in our building, we just went to each other's apartments every day. Time, just knock on the door.
Do you feel like that experience of being able to be so close with our students really added to the experience itself?
Of course, yeah, because I was really afraid that I was going to be alone, because Estonians, as you maybe know, are not that social. We maybe more keep to ourselves.
Some would say you prefer to be alone, which is why this is an interesting topic.
Yeah, maybe that also. But I'm maybe sometimes like this also, but I was afraid that I'm not going to find people that I like to be around.
It's a very Estonian comment to me.
But yeah, but there was this girl randomly that showed up to my door. She was from Scotland, and she just, because she was afraid to be alone also, so she was just searching for people to be friends with. Yeah. And it was lucky for me that I clicked with her. And we formed this 4-girl group, basically, that was just like outsiders that were basically alone from their city, because it was a Brazilian, Scottish girl, Sweden, and then me from Estonia. And we made this group because other people were like from French. There was like 7 French people and like 12 from Spain and stuff. So we made like a freak
solo group. I see what you're saying. Okay, so then you had that. Does this? Do you think that this going forward adds a value to your life in the sense that you can walk away being not necessarily more prepared for the future, but the living with more people, being in that situation has made you a better person for it because of it? And if anything is more particular, because I haven't had that experience, I guess. Could you like further me into like what essentially am I missing that you guys got from it?
Yeah, well, for me, we were, us 4, that was the closest to, we were from such different places. The Brazilian girl, she was like from a totally different world. She like told us stories that they can't even walk alone in their streets. She has to take the car everywhere. Her father doesn't allow her to walk on the street, you know.
It's crazy. I had something similar to that when I lived in Istanbul. It's a different feeling when you're not allowed to walk on the streets without some sort of protection. Yeah. Like I'd have to walk with a baseball bat because the dogs would come and attack me. Never got one though. Just hoping.
So we were like all from totally different, totally different worlds, and it was always every day there was something funny that happened. That because we were all used to so many different things. Yeah. For example, the Scottish girl, they don't take their shoes off when they go to someone's room. She always kept their shoes on, and we were always like sitting there like weird, like, okay, this is weird. Well, why won't you take your shoes off? I just cleaned my room. Like, what the hell, girl? Yeah. And she was like, no, like, why do you take your shoes off? I mean, it's like. They walk with
American.
Their shoes. Yeah.
It's American and Scottish thing.
I don't
apparently.
get it because like you take all the dirt from outside to your home where you live.
I mean, it's just
dirty.
I mean, the same token is you're always trekking in dirt, then you leave your shoes on. That's a logical response. I think both have value ones. But Alex, for you how old are you, by the way?
27.
27, man.
Yeah,
You
I'm
look
an
a
old
day
dude.
over 22. Over here, I'm thinking like he's a 24 and a hottie.
No.
But looking, because you are to the point where you'll be venturing into the business world after this year, or are you going to another program afterwards?
No, I want to study. I want to continue my studies. I already worked in banking like for 10 years. No, 8 years. 8 years, kind of. You know.
Oh, so you took a break from school and are coming back to it then?
Yeah, I try to keep the story short.
Yeah.
I basically worked. We have something called an apprenticeship. I don't know if this is known here.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
and exactly. And during that, I also did my high school degree, and then continued working. And at one point, I did also start some studies in Austria. And yeah, at one point, I asked myself, okay, yeah, I mean, I wanna. If I really want to do something internationally at one point, I need to get prepared for that.
Yeah.
And my English was absolutely horrible. Like I could barely like order food or something, because in everything is in German if you're in a German-speaking country, It's And yeah, I said okay. Now at that point I was I think 22, and I said okay, either do it now or don't do it. And then I said okay, yeah, let's go for it. Apply somewhere abroad. And of course I had a close look, where to apply, and I read a lot about Estonia, all the PISA rankings, about the entrepreneurship thing, and I was also interested in that because I was a bit narrow-minded. When you work like such a long time only in banking, you get a bit narrow-minded, So
this was you just coming here was an eye-opening experience as well.
Exactly, that was my intention to come here and maybe also to visit other countries like I did then. Yeah. And so everything went really smoothly, and I will continue my studies for about 1 year more.
And then you're off to a new school, or?
Yeah, I want to go to the UK actually.
Okay, but, so you're going. You've already been there. You're just going back,
Yeah, I mean at the same university, but generally the UK is my target,
All right, and so do you think that? Let's go full circle back to Holland. Do you think that living in Holland in the dorms that has given you added value? I know, of course, I think it's slightly of a stupid question to ask you like that. I just to make sure everyone's aware of it. Do you think there's anything that you walked away from Holland you didn't have priorly that is going to make you more successful in the future, given if you didn't do it at all?
You mean just from a university standpoint, or?
Let's start with university and then let's go long term because you've already said you have X amount of experience in the banking sector. So applying if you want to go back to it or you want to go to a new field, what did you take away from the Holland experience?
Okay, so I try to do it into 3 parts.
Yeah, take it.
First, let's start with the university. I mean, it is an absolutely great university. It's like they have world-class research. They have the lectures. We had like one lecturer who like wrote tons of books and that kind of things. And we're also involved in developing a really famous model. And yeah, I mean, the lectures are quite different. Some are more, so let's say, less time intense than others, and some are really time intense. And I tried to get also my foot into like more quantitative subjects.
Yeah.
And more in economics, and this was really hard because I mean I'm doing international business.
Yeah.
And if you start then at the UVA, which is a really highly ranked university, if you start there doing economic subjects, it gets really difficult, because they have been prepared for this subject for more than 2 years, and you're there, and you have of course the basics from here, but we are doing business, so you just doing the basics.
Yeah,
then you have really read into like previous literature, and I learned a lot. So I learned a lot from it. I can definitely recommend. But there are also if you think okay, you don't want to go that deep into it, there are also subjects which are less time intensive, and you can also choose this kind of subjects. It depends what you want. They offer you basically everything. Yeah. So
sounds like, man, you just walked away you went from the feel I get from you, a very straightforward man who goes forward what he wants and tackles the world, takes them souls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just seem like you walked there with a plan. You got the info you didn't. You just seem more successful because of it. But I have to ask the question though for both of you, very honestly, as highly as you've been speaking of Holland and the Netherlands, whatever you want to call it, Amsterdam and Rotterdam, did it live up to your expectations when the plane landed? Right, you had all this behind you, like, oh my God, there's so much stuff to do, so much stuff to see, and so much to bike around. Right? Did it live up to expectations going there? What was maybe a hindrance that you didn't actually realize?
Well, there's 2 parts. The country exceeded my expectations like highly, But school for me was a bit of a letdown because it seemed that there wasn't what we heard from the other students that were like going there for many years now. They told us that the program that we were studying in, that this was a new program made for basically us just that year. So everything was kind of like wobbly, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't really, you can tell that it was just a new program because nobody really knew what they were doing, the teachers, and when we asked about the assignments and everything, nobody knew anything. Nobody knew where the classes would be. The classes were like yeah.
Do you think that that you were just the guinea pig year and then the next one's after that? Because again, I'm not saying you represent the school, but the concept of this podcast is essentially to let the people who you would want to go know it. And obviously you saying they didn't know what they were doing might seem, but would you prefer to say that they were just figuring it out, I guess?
I don't even know. I hope it gets better, but the feedback that we got from the older students, they said that the school isn't like the best in Holland, that it had problems in the past also. I guess that was the reason why they, did this new program for us, because it didn't work out, I guess, well in the past. So I don't know.
But besides the school, what about life though?
But the life was amazing. I loved it. The people, I mean, in Estonia, the people really keep to themselves and don't really talk, but out there, what I was surprised of was how good the English language was there. I mean, old people like 60, 70-year-old were like speaking English like so fluently.
So not Estonian
shocking.
English then?
No. It was crazy. I was so surprised. I was so lost there one time, and this old, I think maybe 70-year-old man, well, a grandpa, was like waving from his cute little Holland window, like, "Are you lost? Like, are you looking for this house?" I guess I wasn't the first one that was lost in that street. So
it's a common street to get lost in, is what you're saying. It's just
well, I was looking
street.
for a student thing. So yeah, but he was like speaking so clear English. I was like, wow, and so like nice, just like see me struggling on the street and just helping me. That doesn't really happen in Estonia. In Estonia, maybe people look at you and like laugh at the window.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he lost.
I don't know. I met a guy out the window. I was hanging out with Alex this past weekend. Met a guy through a window. It was a great time. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, I loved it. The little villages there, well, just amazing. Yeah. The culture and the people.
You're
and
gonna
the
go
architecture, back? Of course.
But to live though.
Actually, I'm thinking of when I finish school that I want to go back and live. Yeah.
It sounds like a solid
because I'm never a crier. And when I went on the plane and was leaving, I cried the whole plane.
Because you realize you have to come back to Estonia.
Yeah,
that's why. She's like, no, Tartu.
Yeah, I was looking at just out of the plane window as I don't know. I was like, no, I don't want to leave. It was just a very sad moment.
Sad moment.
Yeah.
Was it a sad moment leaving for you as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
like
used
crying
to,
sad though. Were you?
No, I'm used to like leave all the time. So leave places, but it was a great experience. So,
well, but did it live up to your expectations though? Like I feel from talking to Kristi that the school student life was excellent, and then talking to you, your student life was excellent. Your academic lifestyle was excellent. But besides the academic and lifestyle, did anything else not live up to your expectations, or was there something that you went in there with a preconceived notion that it just wasn't that?
I mean, no, not really. Yeah, since I have been to so many places, I have like I think my expectations are quite on the point most of the time. So, of course, they're always like minor things, but they are always and always. So generally, the life there was great. Not only the student, like in the academic world, but also, with your friends, exploring the city, exploring the country. And it was also great. But of course, like there are always some minor things which are always there. This is how it is.
And did it? did it add any extra value to your return back to Estonia? Because I feel like I'm not necessarily trying to find the negatives in what you're saying, but I'm looking for for something that I can bring out a further conversation that more people can understand. But did it add any sort of value to coming back to Estonia? Your experience.
I mean, for me, not really directly to come back to Estonia, but in my case, it was that if you speak German in the Netherlands, it's pretty wanted, you know.
Yeah.
So actually, I got many job offers directly there.
Just at the airport, they were just
no,
ready
actually,
to go.
you are, LinkedIn and Xing is for kind of German countries, DACH region.
Are they looking for fluent natives or like B1s to C2? Because I'm looking for a job.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they actively approached me because of my background also. I have some other stuff, some certifications and all these kind of things. And that was where they were looking for German-speaking people with that kind of experience, and I fitted in the, category. And so they were really actively looking for employees, Yeah. But of course, I don't know exactly how it is for Estonians there in the job market, because, I was asked for my German skills, but maybe there's also like a market for that. So it was definitely, if I would not try to continue studying further or doing it, then it would add a lot of value, because I would be now there working. So
yeah. So then did it add because I feel from talking to you, I feel as if that your time at UVA, University
of Amsterdam, yeah.
That's backwards how it was in my head. I'm dyslexic. But did it add any value to returning to study back into EBS?
Yeah, definitely. For the sub, you get a very, since I did like quite very intense subjects.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a really high study load, and you learn a lot, especially when it comes to qualitative things, in microeconomics, macro, whatever. For example, I had a course about monetary policy, and they really, outlined how everything works, and you had actually to do all the math. Like, I mean, of course, like not that sophisticated, but still, you had to do a lot. And it helped me for the subjects here, because some subjects were somehow related, and I knew exactly, even in much more depth, how everything works.
Yeah.
So it helped me in that kind of sense also a lot, to like kind of reduce my, learning burden here.
And because I just got the buzzer from Rico, which means I have to sadly kick you out soon.
All right.
Which I've said that twice now. I said this on the first podcast, and I said it now. So that just might be my catchphrase. I'm going to have to kick you out. No, I don't have to kick you out. I don't want to kick either of you guys out. You guys have been a beautiful group to talk to.
And we have the after special. So.
Exactly, after special. So Rico's going to have to cut this for us. Just bang there. But what advice would you give me, or someone who's going to go there? So someone going into their second year of EBS, they've decided to go to your school, to your city in Holland.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them if you just could only give them one piece?
One piece of advice: do it.
Do it. Just
do it.
There's no don't forget to bring a credit card. File your taxes before.
This is one phrase: do it, but look at the subjects thoroughly, which you want to take, because otherwise you will have to do a lot of stuff.
I didn't ask you though. Did you go when you went there? Did you go for the mindset that you were trying to better yourself as a person or academically, or was it more of a mixture? Because I know that's kind of a weird question to ask. Mixture.
Definitely a mixture.
But would you want to say there's one side that you thought was better developed because of the experience?
Yeah, I think the academic side.
Academic side?
But I did a lot of abroad studies before, so like I think my international experience was already quite high. So
okay, sounds good. That was I like the way you phrased that. Very, very professional, man. All right, Kristi. Final words, I guess. What's the one piece of advice you give somebody? Someone's gonna go there. They know nothing about Rotterdam. They just discovered the Netherlands is a country. What piece of advice do you give them?
I don't even know. I mean, I think the experience is gonna be different for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess just go there open-minded. Don't really have any expectations, I guess, because maybe you're gonna get disappointed. I think just go there, travel more, because for me, what I would do now is the beginning was much slower, and I could have used that to travel more, because I traveled more at the end, but the end was also the part when it was academically really busy.
Yeah.
So it was like hard to, do both. But yeah, now I would do what I would do more is travel first, see the country, and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Travel more and just do it. I like that. All right, guys. Camera on me, Rico. I can't wait till Rico starts putting on the mic. I want to hear him spit some verses. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for tuning in today. This has been the EBS podcast, the EBS Erasmus podcast. Just do it. Hope to see you next time with whatever country we may be going. But this has been the Holland episode. Have a good day.